Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Neverwinter Nights. When last we left off, we'd entered into Chapter 2, and we've been tasked by Lord Nasher to go track down this Cult of the Eye around Port Last. We're talking to Aribeth right now after having re-recruited Sharwyn into our party, and now we are considering the options. Also, there is this guy here. There is just a few people we'll end up just talking to while we're here. So, the first thing we shall ask, of course, is, how are you feeling? This must be a terrible strain.
My strain should not surprise you. My only love lies dead, and while it was my lawful lord who executed him, his true murderers remain beyond my reach.
She's not happy.
I wish, with such fervor that it frightens me, to see those allies of Desta pay, to see Tyr visit them with terrible justice.
We are starting to tread quite precariously here. Are you sure that's entirely paladin-like? What do you mean? You might be starting to teeter on the edge of falling. I'm never going to fall. Let me assure you, sar'ken, that my paladinhood is beyond reproach and that I will never fall.
If you do...
Which I won't.
Can I say that I told you so?
You've done this before, haven't you?
No, I don't understand. No, definitely not. No.
If you insist, but I won't. I won't, I assure you of that.
Yes, okay, fair enough.
She's totally going to fall, isn't she?
Oh, it's certainly building up that way.
I am a paladin of Tyr, sworn to uphold good and justice, yet somehow I cannot condemn Fenthic in my heart. He meant only to do what he saw was his duty, I am sure of it.
You can say a lot of things here. Everyone can make a mistake. No. Fenthic was a fool to follow his duty so blindly. No. It's very sad. No. Don't be so naive. No. Don't let your feelings blind you to the truth about Fenthic. Or, even a paladin has a heart, Aribeth. You can't be the avatar of justice all the time. That's what sar'ken would say.
Even a paladin has a heart, Aribeth. You can't be the avatar of justice all the time.
But as a paladin, I am supposed to hold myself above such earthly concerns. I am supposed to know my path and be sure of it, just as Fenthic did. Or thought he did. But I should not be distracting you from your task. My own problems are unimportant and of no interest to you, I am sure. Please, forgive me.
Now, during this chapter, there are various points where you can get more information out of Aribeth, and in fact out of Gend. And getting these things done and figuring all this stuff out is actually very important to you actually achieving things later in the game. So let's hope my persuade is good enough.
No, go on. Tell me what you were going to say.
It is just that Fenthic's fate could have been mine, or yours, or anyone's. How do you know that the path you walk is the correct one?
Good question.
I have never questioned my faith or my duty before, but neither did Fenthic. I feel doubt, and I am ashamed to admit it.
What did I say about telling her so, Sharwyn?
Yes, you did. Now focus on the actual conversation here. If you are a paladin at this point, I might add, there are special interactions in this chapter between you and Aribeth if you're a paladin. I'm not a paladin, though. I'm a druid.
Perhaps I am merely wallowing in my sorrow. Perhaps I know my path better than I think I do, but I am no longer sure. Is it wrong for me to think such thoughts?
Yes, it is. You should pull yourself together. No. No, you're being too hard on yourself. I think the middle ground here is the best option. Because sar'ken is very wise.
It is never wrong to question. What's important are your answers.
Yet I have no answers, only more questions. Thank you for allowing me to unburden my heart, but perhaps it is best if I put these thoughts out of my head for now.
We will be coming back to them later, though, Aribeth.
The safety of Neverwinter relies on your mission, and my duty regarding that is more than clear. Let us speak of that instead.
Okay. I have some questions about this mission.
Of course. Ask what you will of me.
Wow, that was said with reluctance.
What are you and Aarin Gend going to be doing here while I search?
I am here to see that Lord Nash's commands are carried out, while Aarin continues to use his network of spies to gain more information beyond Neverwinter's walls.
Fair enough.
Admittedly, my own role seems sparse. Part of me thinks that my Lord Nasher simply wishes someone he trusts in this role, while another believes he does not wish to be reminded of Fenthic or my pain. Regardless, we will do all that we can to help you. Do not think your efforts go unrecognized.
How do you propose I look for this cult?
Aarin has several ideas on places where the cult may be hidden. Currently, he is working on finding a way into the city of Luskan. Its gates have been sealed since the plague in Neverwinter began.
That's not surprising.
I suggest you talk to Aarin about where these places might be. Search for any clues about the rise of ancient cults or odd activities. Once a way into Luskan is found, you can search there as well.
Handy.
If we are fortunate, you will perhaps encounter some part of the cult and gain information as to who they are and where they are based.
What should I do if I discover something?
Any information you discover should be brought to Aarin and myself. Once we know more about the cult, Lord Nasher can decide what to do next.
Why are we not searching more in Neverwinter?
The search does continue within the city. Indeed, Lord Nasher is having Neverwinter scoured thoroughly for more traces of the cult. It is his feeling, however, that the true force of the cult lies outside of Neverwinter, and that it is your efforts here that will prove the most valuable.
Never mind the fact that I'm a much higher level than you are, as well as Aarin. We want you to do it because you're the player character.
Always an interesting thing in role-playing games and settings in general, where people much higher level will have you do something far more important than your level dictates. This is so very important that Aribeth should really be doing this. However, I fear that if Aribeth went out to go and do it, she might let her anger out on the various things we're discovering, and we won't have any evidence left. Maybe it was sensible that we sent sar'ken on this. Just what do we know about this cult?
Dester appears to have been their link in Neverwinter, as you discovered. But of the cult itself, we have been able to ascertain little.
Not surprising.
Aarin is positive that its true heart lies outside of Neverwinter, and that it has yet to show us the extent of its strength.
Also likely.
The task ahead of us will no doubt be most dangerous. But that makes it all the more necessary that we do not remain ignorant of what this cult is and what it intends.
I want to ask something else.
Certainly.
You could just keep asking all sorts of things of Aribeth, which, do you have any advice for me?
I would suggest you speak to Aarin Gend and find out where to focus your efforts in finding evidence of the cult.
Okay. We are now going to save, because we can just keep talking to Lady Aribeth.
I am pleased to see that you remain safe, my friend. Lord Nasher tells me he is confident of your success, though I do worry at the danger in which you place yourself.
It's a lot of danger.
Have you yet discovered any new information on the cult?
You look tired. Have you not been sleeping well?
Why do you ask me that? The spy master put you up to this, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
I see. I suppose my state is obvious enough. Aarin is far more concerned than is warranted, however. Certainly a few bad dreams are not a reason to become alarmed.
Well, what are the dreams?
The servants claim I speak in my sleep and say frightening things. They creep about me cautiously, like I have gone mad. And Aarin pays their superstitious twitterings far more heed than he should.
Maybe Aarin is right to pay them heed.
After all that has happened with the plague and Fenthic, I think a disturbing dream or two is not so surprising, wouldn't you agree?
These dreams are disturbing enough to keep you from your sleep.
Now you too? Has the world gone mad, or is it me?
Oh,
These
press the wrong thing.
dreams are disturbing and frightening, but they shall pass. They are my burden to bear and no one else's.
What sort of things do the servants claim you say is actually not what I was meant to press, but I will try and persuade. Why don't you tell me of these dreams? Maybe it will help.
Perhaps you are right. Having the perspective of another on these dreams may not be a bad idea.
You looks like you saved yourself there, sar'ken. That could have been awkward. Why? You were thinking of saying something else, though, weren't you?
I will not speak of it.
I am falling in the dream. Always falling. Surrounded by a heavy blackness which chokes and drowns me. grasping hands reach out to me, and the voices, a cacophony of whispers that plead to me for help.
That doesn't sound good, Aribeth.
And then I see a shrouded figure. It is Fenthic. He is walking away from me, and I run to catch him, but always he eludes me in the darkness.
This isn't a good dream.
The voices get so much louder. They are accusing me, blaming me, and I feel ashamed, though I do not know what I am being blamed for. I cry out for help, for them to stop their assault, but I go unheeded.
This is a pretty terrible dream.
And then I catch up to the figure, and I see that it is not Fenthic. He turns and gazes at me with sad eyes, and I know it is Tyr. And then my god turns his back on me.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yep. Oh dear.
These are my dreams. Perhaps now you can understand why I have not wished to discuss them. I am frightened of what they may mean.
That's understandable. They would frighten me as well.
That's kind of you to say. I am glad I told you at least. It makes the dream seem a bit smaller now.
That's good.
I do feel better for it, thank you. I am reminded a little of how I was introduced to the paladin life. You should ask me to tell you the tale sometime.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Until then, however, let's return to the subject of your task.
Nope.
That is something we can focus on at least.
It may be.
Go with Tyr's blessing then, and be safe.
However, we could just merely probably ask you again. This is something I found that in Chapter 2 you can just do.
I am pleased to see. Have you yet discovered any...
Not at the moment, though. You can basically go back and do things and ask a lot of information of her. We haven't talked to Sharwyn yet. Let's talk to Sharwyn.
Yes? Is there something you need?
I just want to talk for a while. Talk? What about sar'ken? If we're to be companions, I'd like to know a little more about you. Has this all been reset? Has this all been reset since last I was here? Yes, tell you, my beginnings as a bard. Ah, there we go. Yes, tell me about that. Let's see, I learned the majority of my trade from Danon, my partner and my love. It was he who took me away from Neverwinter and my family. We were a team, a singing duo who earned our keep in taverns, travelling from town to town along the Sword Coast. We would camp off the roads, and I would listen in awe as Danon told me the old legends by the firelight. I loved him more as each night passed. Gah, you didn't tell me this was such an awful... So why aren't you with him now? An excellent question. At the time I didn't think anything could separate us. He was my first, you see, and my belief in our love was absolute. It turned out that those times were the best. I should have cherished them more, for things were quickly about to get much worse. The fateful day came when we crossed into Arm in the south. Oh, you do not want to just go to Arm in general. Arm is... yeah, not good. We received a rather sudden and unexpected invitation to sing before one of the wealthiest courts in, Alcatla. Was this bad news? Well, Danon was positive that our long months of playing taverns at courts wanted attention, that we were being rewarded. He was overjoyed. Myself, I was hesitant. I was not sure of our abilities, so questioning the motives behind the invitation was far easier. I urged Danon to ignore the invitation. But naturally he would have none of it. It was the beginning of the end of us, really, though I did not know. Perhaps it is a story I shall tell you sometime. I'll hold you to that promise. I didn't promise anything. Perhaps I'll tell you about it. Perhaps not. We shall see. Come, let us adventure more. It will lift my spirits some, I think. Okay, now we have to talk to Aarin Gend. This is a man who measures each step with the smooth grace of a stalking panther. His eyes shift around the room with an intense awareness. This video is going to be very dialogue heavy, but that's because we have to meet Aarin Gend and talk to Aribeth and talk to Sharwyn, and we could talk to all these people, but we're not going to, probably. Not yet, anyway. Hello, Aarin!
Hail, friend. You were instrumental in ridding Neverwinter of the wailing death, I
Yep.
understand. Allow me to congratulate you on a job well done.
He also has such a jaunty tune. I like the jaunty tune.
You have shown yourself to be possessed of remarkable courage and resourcefulness. That is fortuitous, for both these qualities will be needed if you are to complete your mission.
Excellent. Aribeth's just listening in there.
But that is not how we should begin. I am known as Aarin Gend, and I have served our Lord Nasher for some time. Hopefully, I may be of similar use to you now.
Pleased to meet you. My name is sar'ken Smith.
Indeed. I know who you are. There are many who whisper your name right now, and it is my business to listen to them all.
What do they all say? Well, some of them think that your bear is actually in command. They would be right. I know that the bear can talk. My spies tell me of this.
My place lies in the shadows. I have many eyes and ears throughout the northern lands, and it is my place to inform Lord Nasher where the vipers lay in wait.
That's not a bad job.
If only I had foreseen the actions of this cult, I could have prevented the disaster. But these men move skillfully out of my sight and hearing.
That's ominous.
Instead of recriminating myself for my failure, I must do what I can to repair the damage. And that is to offer what information I have to you, so that you may find where this new nest of vipers hides.
Okay.
Aribeth has informed you of where you must search, yes? She has told you of how you may root out these fiends?
She said you would explain the details.
Unearthing the cult will not be a simple task.
Didn't think so.
What few whispers I have collected, however, have allowed me to narrow your search to this region.
Helpful?
It is vital that the cult's exact location be found, and that we are certain any leads we discover are not attempts at deception. Aribeth will not be satisfied until we find at least 2 separate leads that point to the same locale. That is your task.
Fair enough.
I do know of one possible lead for you.
Okay.
There has been strange news regarding a series of caves that lie north of Port Last. Investigation may reveal the cult to be hidden there.
Fair enough.
If not, there are other avenues for you to investigate. The city of Luskan to the north, Neverwinter Wood to the east, and the wildlands of the South Road.
Fair enough.
I suggest, however, that looking into the caves first would still be your wisest choice.
Tell me about these caves.
The caves are in the hills to the north of Port Last, near the Green Griffin Inn.
Ah.
They have long been used by humanoid tribes of orcs, bugbears, and the like. They aren't usually a concern.
We are certainly going there, because Sharwyn wants us to go there.
In recent months, however, I have received word that these various humanoid creatures have been raiding the roads south of Luskan.
You do the fabled sword back scratch, I see. I do that sometimes. It's odd. Let's not talk of it.
This would not be unusual, except that the creatures now seem very organized and, I hear, are being led by humans.
That is unusual, because bugbears are more than capable of leading themselves.
This leads me to believe the cult may be involved. That will be for you to determine. Just keep this in mind. No matter what you find there, Aribeth will wish 2 firm leads on the cult's location before she will act. We cannot afford a mistake.
Not surprised.
Have you a question for me then, my friend?
Pretty quick to call me your friend, but I suppose you trust me. I would rather talk about something else.
Aye. What would you have of me?
Oh, we could ask him all sorts of questions, but I think we will leave those until next time. For when we get to these questions and we finish them, we shall then explore around. This is a very plot-heavy beginning to the chapter, but there's not much we can do about that. It's just a very plot-heavy beginning. So, when we come back, folks, we shall continue to explore around the mind of Aarin Gend, and probably around Port Last eventually. So, I shall catch you next time, and I'll see you then. Later.